Shalom Israel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Kakwadash, the bonus of the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect. I may name this one Be Stupid if you want, you know. And basically at this point, you're still looking to take this vaccine, then then you just want death. Okay, there's many articles out there. This one, alright, was the most recent one I saw. This pregnant doctor suffers miscarriage after receiving C-19 vaccine. So this is according to social media posts. I'll read up actually. A Wisconsin doctor who was 14 weeks pregnant claims she suffered a miscarriage within days of receiving the C-19 vaccination. According to social media posts, Dr. Sarah Beltrán Ponce was enthusiastic about receiving the vaccine. So lock in 1 second. According to social media posts, Dr. Sarah Ponce, I guess that's how you say her name, was enthusiastic about receiving a vaccine to protect myself, my baby, my family, my patients, and my community. A good Samaritan. 14 weeks pregnant and fully vaccinated. You see, they got the quotation marks. Very happy. She's very happy to be vaccinated. Ponce wrote on Twitter on January 28th, when it is available to you, I encourage you to do the same. These are her tweets. 14 weeks pregnant and fully vaccinated. I got the Jovid to protect myself, my baby, my family, my patients, and my community. All right, we just read that. She says, as a physician, I feel a responsibility to protect the cancer patients that I see on a daily basis, especially those who are immunocompromised from their therapies. We shall be examples of social distancing, masking, and vaccinations. But also as a human, we all have a responsibility to do what is best for our communities and for each other. Ponce posts continue stating that as a medical professional, she felt she should lead by example. As a physician, I feel a responsibility. I just read that, okay. But also as a human, we all have a responsibility to do what's best community for each other. She added, along with a photo of her being vaccinated, all right, with holding up ultrasound images, all right, proof of vaccination, proof of pregnancy. Sadly, 1 week later, on February 4th, Ponce announced she suffered a miscarriage. I've always been open about my motherhood. Well, let me read this last post. Yeah, same thing, okay. And it was I've always been open about my motherhood journey in medicine. And it's with a heavy heart that I tell my #MedTwitter family that I've suffered a miscarriage after 14 and a half weeks, Ponce tweeted. It's not certain that the vaccine caused the miscarriage, but according to WebMD, there is a higher risk of miscarriage if a pregnant mother is exposed to radiation or toxic substances. While the World Health Organization and the UK has not recommended pregnant women take the vaccine, the CDC in the US is actively encouraging vaccination, claiming they're unlikely to pose a risk for pregnant people. Okay, as I mentioned, there's many articles on that. Now I'm not going to play it. Brothers could check this out on their own. All right, it's on brand new tube. Eustace Mullins. He wrote a book called Murder by Injections. And in this interview, he was going into how these devils, they basically backed this guy by the name of Dr. Sims. I think I actually looked him up. You know, when you look him up, actually, which in the interview Eustace Mullins went into, he has a diabolical past of being a sadist, all right, and basically cutting people open, especially Jakes, all right, so-called black enslaved, which were black enslaved women at the time. You know, he had a that got him off being able to cut people open. This guy, Dr. J. Marion Sims, what they call him the father of modern gynecology. All right, but it's through the things that he did, you know, along with which, you know, for a season you had a lot of people, which he's from South Carolina. All right, and he was, you know, basically pushed out of there because people wasn't with the wickedness he was doing, you know. So then he went down to New York and continued to do that wickedness. And people over there were outraged as far as, like I said, him basically mismanaging patients, cutting them open. All right, actually, it goes into his story a little bit. Sims perfected his surgical techniques by operating without anesthesia on enslaved black women. In the 20th century, this was condemned as an improper use of human experimental subjects, and Sims was described as a prime example of progress in the medical profession made at the expense of vulnerable people. You see? And they call this man the father of modern gynecology. You know? As a matter of fact, I believe in an interview, Eustace Mullins brought out how you had John D. Rockefeller, which when you go into him, he basically backed this guy. I believe he changed the hospital that this guy, Dr. Sims founded in New York to another name. I can't remember the whole story. I said, brothers, watch it. But the point, you know, I got out of it, and the point I'm trying to make is that these devils back, you know, wickedness. All right, he was going into, you know, how Esau pushes cancer through the fluoride in the water and these chemical plants all around the world, to where it pushes you, you know, to have to get these expensive and unnecessary evasive therapies, because that's how Esau makes a lot of his money, you know. So it just goes to show you that this devil don't give a shit about you, especially you tribes. All right, as I read this, also things that, you know, as I read this guy's background, also makes me think of how nothing has changed. All right, you Jakes are still the guinea pigs, as they, you know, they say to this day. We want you so-called blacks and we want you blacks and Hispanics to get the vaccine first. You know, meanwhile there's no test run on it. You know, you'll be the test dummy. So if anybody dies, they just die. That's how these devils look at it. You know, Eustace Mullins basically brought it out. If anybody dies, all right, hey, if anybody dies, the doctor themselves will still continue to push that particular test or that particular experiment on a person. All right, because nevertheless, you know, the experiment went right, as he mentions. The person just happened to die. Okay, so again, be stupid if you want. All right, there's countless articles, and on top of that, the prophets out there on every street, well, not every street corner, but all around the world, speaking to you in sign language. All right, and in whatever language, you know, of your prospective country. So there's really no excuse. Okay. This is the book of, I think it's Proverbs 19. Yeah, Proverbs 19 and 20. Hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou mayest be as wise in thy latter end. Okay? This is the latter end, Jake. You know? This is the time where the Lord is getting ready to come back and receive his, you know, those that have not bowed down to the image of Baal, which is ultimately is going to be the RFID chip. But even prior to that is this vaccination. Okay? The scriptures tell us to never trust our enemy. In other words, be wise. Okay? As we go into different articles, we go into different books, not just the scriptures, which that's the main focus. All right, but we go into different books that Esau has written himself. Okay? We go into different articles. We go into different videos, interviews, as I was just, telling brothers about Eustace Mullins, which he was around in the early 1900s, so he's seen a lot. He actually wrote different books on, let's see, this guy Eustace Mullins, all right, which of course they call him they just blackball him. But his books tell the truth, man. The Secrets of the Federal Reserve, Murder by Injection, the world order, the curse of Canaan, the rape of justice, the Federal Reserve conspiracy, all things that, proves the scriptures of the wicked, all right, who the wicked is, and what the wicked will be doing. Okay? So this is Jeremiah. Actually, let me get one more. Proverbs 4. You know what? I'll come back to that. Jeremiah chapter 13, verse 16. Give glory to Yahweh your power before he caused darkness, and before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains. Darkness, all right, is when the prophets come off them streets, the Lord called his men in the book of Matthew, the 5th chapter, the light of the world. Okay? This word, according to Proverbs 6 and 23, the law is light, the scriptures say. So without the men of the Lord telling you about the law, telling you about the scriptures, out there on the highways and hedges every week, in a cheap place of concourse, all right? Without that light, there's darkness, simple, And before your feet stumble upon the dark mountains, there's not going to be nobody out there to warn you. All right, the scriptures say, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Isaiah 55 and 11. And while you look for light, he turn it into the shadow of death and make it gross darkness. Okay, the scriptures say, basically, let me see. Yeah, Sirach 12 and 12. Set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at last remember my words, and be pricked therewith. Okay? So you the one that's going to get hurt at the end of the day. As this woman is pricked, the woman that we just read about, that had a miscarriage, she's definitely pricked. All right? Those, who receive facial paralysis, I'm sure they're pricked like, damn, I shouldn't have took that. But if ye will not hear it, my soul shall weep in secret places for your pride, and my eye shall weep sore and run down with tears because Yahweh flock is carried away captive. Okay? And that's what's going to happen at the end of the day. If you don't take heed into the prophets, you're going to be carried away captive. All right? This devil's going to, take over your mind. Literally. These tests already, what is it, the PCR test where they put that long ass swab up your nose? Why do they got to do that? Why don't they just swab your mouth? Because they're putting what? Nanobots onto your brain. Okay? Basically making way for that RFID chip. Okay? This is Joshua, I think 23. Yeah, Joshua 23 and 11. Take a heed, therefore, unto yourselves, that ye love the Lord, which the Lord in all caps is Yahweh, your God. Else, if you do in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you, know for a certainty that Yahweh your power will no more drive away out any of these nations from before you, but they shall be snares and traps unto you, and scourges in your side, and thorns in your eyes. Okay? So ignorance is not bliss. As the brother in the camp, he did a lesson on that. Is death. All right? You're the one that's going to be hurt at the end of the day, until you perish from off this good land which Yahweh, your power, have given you. Yeah, let me read, keep going. This is a good one. This is a good chapter. And behold, this day I am going the way of all the earth. And ye know in all your heart and in all your souls that not one thing hath failed of all the good things which Yahweh your power spake concerning you. Okay? The fact that you were going to slavery, that happened. The fact that we told you it's going to get worse is happening. All these things that the prophet's been out there telling you, we tell you, not to get comfortable. Things are going to get worse. It's happening, as I mentioned. The prophets, even Esau himself calls us the perennial prophets of doom. That's what Trump called us. But it says, your God promised you, all right, which we speak through the spirit and power of Yahweh. Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh is the Most High. Bahashem mean in the name, and his son is Yahweh Shai. All right? Through Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, that we get power, and we know, all right, that we have power, and we know what we're saying, that is coming to pass. So shall Yahweh bring upon you all evil things, until he have destroyed you from off this good land, which Yahweh your power have given you. When ye have transgressed the covenant of Yahweh your power, which he commanded you, and have gone and served other gods, and bowed yourself to them, then shall the anger of Yahweh be kindled against you, and ye shall perish quickly from off the good land which he have given unto you. All right? You want to ask why? Well, because you go after your own vain opinions, your own vain gods, instead of taking heed to the warnings. All right? These warnings won't be here forever, man. The prophets won't be here forever. Okay? Proverbs 4. And I'll start at 19. I'll actually start at 18. Proverbs 4 and 18. But the path of the just is as a shining light. On the flip side, those that do take heed, they're not going to be surprised at what's to come. Like the elder out there in South Carolina, he said, don't be surprised that more enchantments are coming. The Most High is giving us more wisdom, all right? As brothers are doing a lot more lessons, all right, going into Esau's witchcraft, all right, we're seeing, as scripture say, let me just grab that. Because I read that, was it Sirach 12? I started at 12, but I actually should have started at 10. All right? Never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. So by us, as you would call us, all right, the negative ones, whatever you want to call us, all right, whatever you want to downplay us, the conspiracy theorists, any of that, all right, hey, you're going to see that we wasn't wrong, that we wasn't so crazy after all. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more to the perfect day. Proverbs 4:19. The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble. My son, attend to my words. Incline thine ear unto my sayings. Okay? Forget what they talking about. Go by what you see. You know? Let them not depart from thine eyes. Keep them in the midst of thine heart. For they are life unto those that find them, and health to all their flesh. So if that, Lord willing, you I can ratify, shalom to the elect.